Now, be honest. Do you keep the things that you don't really need? Perhaps a collection of used bus tickets, files of old magazines, newspapers. Could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah, if you're one of those people, you're not alone. A new survey carried out by the Royal Voluntary Service suggests that we are a nation of hoarders with clutter adorning our homes.
We'll chat about it in a moment. First, we ask some of you about your knickknacks.
I can remember things that people had bought me years ago, and I'll say, so-and-so bought that. She bought that when we got married, and I've still got it.
I think the older people more likely to have clutter.
Well, I remember when my children were small, there's clutter everywhere, so I don't think it is older people.
We've got all the Beano annuals in the world and all the dandies.
If you've not had a top on for 12 months, 2 years, throw it away, but then you don't because you think, well, I'll wear it next year, and then you don't, do you?
Young people move around a lot, I've moved around a lot, and you don't want to take all the stuff with you all the time. But I'm sure there are some young people who do it, just not as many, and kind of it's seen as a modern trend to be minimalist.
Well, personally for me, once I've used it, it's gone. Because that's the society now, modern day. You throw it away when it's broke.
So, should we all be trying to clear up our clutter? Let's discuss this. Antiques dealer Paul Hayes is here, Leslie Spellman, professional organiser who declutters people's homes.
I'd love that job.
That's a great job.
You must see some stuff.
I do, I see lots of stuff, yes.
Yeah, and is it mostly broken? Because part of the problem, I think, is people delude themselves into thinking that what is complete rubbish and clutter is something useful for a future date.
Sometimes they do. It's not always rubbish, and it's about what's important to them. So, you know, what's important to one person is not necessarily important to another. So it's about going through things and really taking out the things that mean something and are very special and that person can use or need or love.
Because there's a difference as well between something you might use in the future and something you might think might be valuable in the future, isn't there? You're an antiques expert.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. A lot of things can get lost. I mean, you can have lots and lots of items, and the really good items that mean something to you are overcrowded by old newspapers, magazines, bits of ornaments you don't necessarily want. And I think where Leslie comes in is helps you to really to organise that and to make use of all the good things that you have. And some of those things can be very valuable as well. Not only personal value, but obviously monetary value as well.
Well, ironically, you in your line of work, you rely on people who are hoarders, don't you? Because that's where amazing finds come from, because someone stuffed it away somewhere and forgotten about it and someone finds it later.
Yeah, what tends to happen is that people have a bereavement or they inherit a house of some sort, and rather than deal with it straight away, they have it all around the house and they keep things and knickknacks and so on. And it's only really when you start to go through those items that you can realise the true sort of commercial value of them. But it can take a long time, can't it, really, for people to sort of to deal with that really and to go through it. And it's quite a lengthy process. And Leslie obviously will help you there.
So where do you start, Leslie? I mean, how does one even define what clutter is? Because it means different things to different people, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it really, once it starts to become very overwhelming to that person, that's when I step in, and that's when somebody thinks, you know, I can't deal with this anymore. My rooms are not fit for purpose. Those beautiful antiques that Paul sees are surrounded, you know, buried knee-deep in paperwork that's not been sorted out for years and years. Enough's enough. I need to be able to get my room back and to be able to really appreciate the things that I've got. So that's when they kind of call me in, and I go in and help them sort through the rubbish.
It's a real taste thing as well, because some people love living in places that are jam-packed with stuff, don't they? I mean, they love every sort of bookcase full of little ornaments, and other people want completely clear space. So, you know, one person could walk into a room and think, this is awful, I feel...
Absolutely.
Too much stuff. And someone else, it's absolute comfort to see little things everywhere that have a meaning for them.
That's right, and people wrongly assume that because I'm a declutterer that I live a very minimalist lifestyle at home, and that's not the case at all. I have a family home, it's busy, it's, you know, got all the things that I need for a family home, and I want it to be that. But other people are quite happy with nothing, other people want all the knickknacks around them, and it's entirely up to them, but it's as long as they've got in front of them, they can see and appreciate what they have got.
And Paul, do you see things changing because, you know, over generations, the way that people hold on to things?
Yeah, I mean, things can have enormous sentimental value, but also nostalgia is a big sort of leader when people are buying antiques, really, and collecting antiques. So if you've inherited lots of things from the sort of 50s and 60s now, they fit with a modern home, people go for that sort of thing.
I mean, we were looking at that lovely old television that we had earlier.
Fantastic.
But yes, fantastic. It is fantastic. We all think it is, but, you know, you might have come along and said, right, get rid of that that old telly and move on.
No, I think necessarily. I mean, if I sort of come across that, I said keep it. I mean, sometimes people actually change the movements to have them working again and use them as like a feature, you know, and just have them. And they're just wonderful things to have, iconic pieces of scientific.
But how do you know what is that special then?
Quality always shines through whatever the item is. So if you've got something that's been very well made by an individual artist, or it's cost a fortune originally, chances are what it is now is worth something. But I must admit, to my mum, my mum's one of these houses that has lots and lots of clutter, lots of bits and pieces, but she could name exactly where she bought things from, who bought it, her. It's all priceless to her, you know. And
Isn't
I think
that funny? One person's chaos, what looks like chaos, could be it's all regimented for someone else.
But there's also a lot of things like old gym equipment that nobody uses anymore, and it just takes up room, and space is very, very important. So the secret is, I think, is to make the most of the space you've got and to have items around you that mean something to you, and that's the secret, really.
Yeah.
Go home, tidy up. Well, tidy's different for a clutter, isn't it? Tidy's one thing.
Yeah, tidy and organisation.
That's pushing things in a cupboard.
You need to declutter first and then tidy and organise second.
Thank you very much.
Thanks both.